Hi everyone, in today's video we're looking at how to use TCM WEAVER to take indications, symptoms, signs, all the things your patient presents with, and then put those together and start to figure out what pattern actually fits that presentation. And then from there we can find our herb formula and maybe even some single herbs to add in. So for this example, I'm going to start with cough. Let's say the patient has a cough and I've got 327 results. That's way too many, so we're going to add a little more information. Let's say they also have a headache. And I've gone down from 325 to 49 results. This is great. Now just look, these results have to do with herb formulas as well as single herbs, indications, patterns, all that stuff is in the mix here. So what I'm going to do is go to my filters and I'm just going to set it so that I only see pattern-based results. So now I've got 14 results, which means there's 14 patterns that have to do with cough and headache. That's good. It's still quite a bit to compare, to be honest with you. So I'm going to narrow it down a little more by adding some more of the symptoms. So maybe this patient also has a fever. I'm down to 11. Maybe this patient also has a sore throat, and I'm putting it in quotes because it's 2 words, but want it to be one idea. And we're down to 1 result. Isn't that great? So we can expand this into our text view and we can see this is way level warm febrile disease. Here's the symptom picture and the herb formula is yin chow san, right? And we can learn more about that. If we want to get more information on yin chow, it's just right there. So very cool. Now let's say that they don't have a sore throat, right? So that was very lucky that we had a pattern that went down to only 1 result, but let's say they don't have a sore throat at all. So we're back to 11 results, 11 different patterns. I can also filter these patterns based on their energetic nature. So I can go down here to forces and I can select and say, okay, well, I only want to see fever, cough, and headache symptom clusters in patterns that have to do with heat. We're down to 5. I only want to see fever, cough, headache symptom clusters in patterns that have to do with heat and dryness. We're down to 2. So if you've done the detective work, you've already got a sense of what's going on with the patient, like these general forces of heat and dryness, you can get things down pretty quick. So we can use our filters that way. And now I've got my 2 different patterns that it could be, Sangxing Tong or Qingzhao Jufei Tong, and I can compare them here. Or I can go to my graph view and I can take these 2 and I'm going to use my wander mode and expand everything up. And I know it's going to look kind of crazy here because there's so much information. But once I have that open, then I'm going to use my filters again. And I'm going to select so that it only shows the indications, right? I'm going to get rid of all the single herbs. We don't need to see those. Don't need to see that. Don't need to see the formulas just yet. We'll get rid of everything except patterns and indications. And now if we want to start to make a differential, we can look at these and start to pull them apart and say, okay, here's what we have in common, right? It's like a Venn diagram. I'll zoom it in for you a little bit. It's like a Venn diagram. We can see in the middle, dry throat is common to both of these. Fever is common, thirst, thin tongue coating, rapid pulse, right? Cough, headache, all these things are common. But what we have on the outsides, those are the differential questions. So now it's just a matter of asking 1 or 2 questions instead of grilling somebody and sitting there with them for an hour and, asking them every single thing in the world, the 10,000 questions, right? Instead, we can look at this and go, okay, here's where I'm headed with this, with my line of thought. I just need to confirm some things. Like, do they have a red tongue? That would be a good one, right? Because red tongue isn't over here. Red tongue is over here. Yeah, you can start to see where this is going. We can look at the irritability. Maybe that's one. Maybe it's a deficient pulse. Maybe it's coughing up blood, right? That would be kind of like a slam dunk on this. What's the tongue coating look like? Is it white tongue coating? That would be really helpful to know because now we have like a dry tongue coating that's white, sticky sputum, red tongue, dry cough, floating pulse. We don't need to worry about all these commonalities because we already identified that with these 2 patterns. So we just need to start picking things. If they say, yeah, my ribs are killing me, hypochondriac pain, then we're starting to see that this is more their symptom picture, right? So whatever one we decide on, then we can just look at this actual pattern itself and I can click this little icon here and that'll give me a text preview and it shows me, again, all the symptoms, everything that's on the graph, as well as the herb formula, Qingzhao Jufei Tong, and I can move from there. Maybe this is the herb formula I want to use that I want to start with, I want to think about. So what else we can do? Let's say we're going to use Qingzhao Jufei Tong, and maybe we want to customize it. Maybe this patient is having also some insomnia, right? So they have insomnia and a cough, and we want to find a single herb that's going to help with that. So I can go back, and I'm going to start this over again and go right back to my text view, and I'm going to just type in insomnia, cough, and I'm going to filter it by single herbs. So that's all I want to see. I've got 9 results. So here are 9 different herbs we could think about adding to that formula potentially. So there you go. This will help you get more clear with your diagnostics. It'll help you make sense of all the indications, signs, symptoms. We can get better at patterns. We can figure out what formulas go with them. And then we can also customize and modify so that the patient really gets the best treatment possible. All right, cheers.